and thanks for having me. We here in Michigan and election officials all across the country are fully prepared to do our jobs this year, which is making sure every citizen can vote and that we're administering full, free, and fair elections. So that continues. The clarity provided by the court is to affirm what I and the vast majority of my colleagues have also said since the beginning, which is that it's inappropriate for any one state to weigh in and make a decisive position, take a decisive position on such a thorny legal issue. It really is best left to the federal government, and the Supreme Court has affirmed that, given us that clarity, so that any state or state court still wrestling with the question of how to apply Section 3 of the 14th Amendment now has that clarity to declare Donald Trump's eligibility as a candidate in this election. Again, I think the vast majority of my colleagues have taken the same position I have, which is that it's inappropriate for a state official to weigh in on this issue. And today, the Supreme Court affirmed that position and said, indeed, in cases like this, where the legal and factual issues are not straightforward, the Constitution requires they be determined at the federal level, not at the state level. And then again, I think on all of this, we have to remember who has the ultimate authority, which is the voters in every state. And that, again, was to me affirmed today by giving voters the opportunity to weigh in on who they should hold politically accountable at the ballot box for the issues at stake in this year's election. I was surprised. I was at the oral arguments as well and expected, as I think many of us did, for a lot of the discussion to be focused on the definition of insurrection, the facts in this case. But notably, the court said, look, there are lots of different issues at play, both legal and factual. And the question is really who is the appropriate authority, what is the appropriate forum, and when is the appropriate time to make these determinations. As a legal scholar and a former law dean, I know you have to determine those who and what and when law at the same time or perhaps before you get to the substance of the case. And so I wasn't surprised at all by even the unanimity or the per curiam aspect of the decision today. And I was grateful because it showed by issuing it today before Super Tuesday, the court is aware of the importance of both clarity and timing in this case. And again, in making sure voters go into this election cycle with the clarity of their power to determine the future of our country in this upcoming election.